All right. Good morning, everyone, and thank you so much for being here today. We're so glad you could come and join us, and we'd also like to wish you all a happy World Maternal Mental Health Day. Today marks our first Maternal Health Symposium, and we are really excited to kick off this important work with you all. This webinar is a part of our ongoing maternal health initiative, and our goal is to ensure that birthing individuals, mothers, and families feel informed, supported, and connected. We hope that by the end of today's session, you leave with a stronger understanding of the many resources, services, and supports that exist for new and expecting parents and birthing individuals in our community. This is a two-part series, and we invite you to join us again for the second session taking place next week on May 12th, where we will continue the conversation with a focus on recovery, wellness, and nutrition. Before we begin, just a few quick housekeeping notes. We are recording this webinar, and we will share it out and post it on our website. And we will have time for a Q&A at the end, so feel free to drop any questions in the chat, and we will monitor and address them at the end of the presentation. And now I'm excited to introduce our wonderful panel of speakers today. We have Vanessa Prohodsky. She is the co-founder and a doula for a company, Doula Care. We have Caroline Elias. She is the lactation specialist at Mock Inc. Sarah Childers Rossi. She is a sleep and support strategist at Sweet Slumber. And Jessica Spayman. She is the owner and a perinatal maternal health therapist at Emotions in Motion. We are so grateful to have such knowledgeable and dedicated group of professionals joining us today. So thank you, everyone. And we actually, as the shared services, as the host of this webinar, just wanted to do a quick introduction to our work and how we kind of got started in the maternal health field. So, Karina.
Good morning, everyone. Thank you for joining us today and spending a little bit of your morning with us. I really wanted to talk a little bit about our Healthy Parent, Happy Baby initiative. We piloted the initiative last year, and we are in our second year. We're actually mid-year mark at the moment. So we're very excited to show how the community has rallied over our initiative and taken opportunity of the resources and services we have provided. So I wanted to share a little bit about our components of our initiative. There are five main components to the Healthy Parent, Happy Baby initiative. Some of it we'll go into depth, not much today, but birthing classes has been a great success. We wanted to increase the capacity on that in our Metro West area. We have baby care packages, postpartum support groups. But this symposium is actually connected to our mental health and maternal health awareness campaign. It's part of increasing the awareness and knowledge of all the services and knowledge in maternal health. So I hope that everyone leaves today with founder depth of what services are available if you are currently expecting, have given birth, or are planning a family, or are just a support person with someone that you know and care about. So thank you, or a professional. I know we have some in the room who are in the realm of maternal health. And I'm going to kick it back to Talita.
Thank you. So our most exciting, personally, part of our maternal health initiative is our community baby showers. To date, we've had two. We are planning our third. Our first baby shower happened in June of last year, so almost a year to date. We had 55 folks registered, and this was pre-registration. So at the event, we allowed for registration at the door. So we did have well over 55 people attend. And this was set up kind of like a community resource fair. So we had 14 community partners total with providers all across Metro West. And we were able to give all participants a customized maternal health tote bag, as you can see there on the right. Inside the tote bag, we had baby blankets, a baby hygiene kit, dental hygiene kit, a bottle cooler, and a customized water bottle. And then we also provided folders with language specific maternal health resources and materials. And then we were also able to raffle off some amazing baskets that were donated by our community partners. And then baby shower number two, similar setup. It happened at the end of last year, so in November in Framingham at the public library. Pre-registration, we had 89 people pre-registered. Again, we had well over 89 people attending and 14 community partners as well. And we were able to give folks the same customized maternal health tote bag. And having this baby shower at the library was able to really help attract folks to the event that might have not known of the event. It was a huge success. And both of these baby showers included our favorite part. Next slide, Karina, please. Our baby boutique. Um, so we were fortunate enough to receive a lot of donations from our communities. We had gently and new clothing. We had baby formula. And we set up this space because we wanted parents to feel like they were able to shop and kind of choose what they wanted and what they thought their baby needed. And each attendee was given a shopping bag along with an individual essentials bag that had diapers and wipes. And then we offered just a mix of things. And again, we just wanted to create a space that kind of felt supportive, respectful, and really centered around the choice of the parents and what they wanted to give for their baby. So that was our most exciting part of our baby shower. Another part of our initiative is the virtual postpartum support groups. So these happen weekly. They're virtual drop-in sessions held every Tuesday with our partners at a company doula. And this support group provides a welcoming space for new parents to receive guidance, share experiences, and build community during the postpartum period. We do offer these groups in English, Portuguese, and Spanish. And our sessions did just end about 2 weeks ago, but we are hoping to start up again this summer. And then the third part of our initiative is our childbirthing education classes, also led by our friends at Accompany Doula. These classes provide emotional support. They teach birthing techniques. They teach empowerment. They help to build confidence for labor and delivery. And we also offer these classes in English, Spanish, and Portuguese. And we try to really host these classes across our shared services region. So our English sessions, we've had two to date. One was held in Hudson, the second was held in Natick. Our Portuguese sessions, the first one was held in Milford at the public library. The second one was at the Framingham Public Library. And our Spanish sessions, we had two scheduled. We've only hosted one to date, which happened at the Framingham Public Library. So we've had great feedback, and we are hoping to continue this as well.
Thank you, Talita. We also would love for you to stay connected with us and follow us on the QR code here. If you scan it, you might be able to sign up to follow us or to register to get updates. Our upcoming event is our community baby shower. It will be at the end of June in Ashland. We don't have the address yet to share. And our community flyer isn't out yet, but you can register today as a participant. You can scan it and register, and you will get the further information as we release it. But we will be sharing more information about our next session on postpartum support groups, as well as birthing classes. So if you are joining us today and are expecting, you are able to join us on those. And again, all our services and events are free. And also you can look at more about our impact that we're trying to do on maternal health, or get to know us more on all the other work that we do, whether it's looking at food access in our region, communicable disease as well, and how we support our health directors in our region. But we really wanted to thank you all to joining us, and without further ado, I wanted to share the stage with Vanessa, who is our company doula, who we been partnering, and she's been amazing. But I'll give her some time to speak on that. Thank you.
Thank you, Karina. We appreciate the partnership as always and hope to continue making an impact with you guys. This is all awesome. I'm so happy the community has access to everything that you guys are doing. So thank you as well. Okay, good morning, everyone. I am Vanessa Prohotsky. I sometimes go by Vanessa Gomez because no one knows that I'm Portuguese speaking Brazilian if I use the name Prohotsky. But you'll find either out there. I am a co-founder of a company, Doula Care. I'm also a doula, a practicing doula, doula trainer, and I also run private doula agencies. So I have been doing this work for almost 10 years now, and I'm happy to be here to share with you a little bit more about doula work. Um, okay, next slide, please. Okay, so what do you want to know about doulas? I just want to say if there's anything when I'm talking that you are curious about, feel free to drop it in the chat, and then if I don't address it during the presentation, we'll be happy to address it at a later time. Next slide, please. Okay, so what is a doula? Doulas are trained providers that are there to provide non-clinical, emotional, physical, and informational support for birthing people before they give birth, during their birth and labor, and after labor and birth as well. So the idea is that the doula is there throughout the whole perinatal period is supporting the person in whatever needs they have prior, during, and after their birth. So at a company, Doula Care, we are committed to addressing inequities in maternal health, which are unfortunately very big, and if not getting worse by the day in this country. And a company was founded to provide doula support for families who could otherwise not have access. So we don't accept a private paying clients for doula support. We partner with insurances and also through grants to address inequities at the source. Next slide, please. Okay. So we know that birth is one of the most impactful experiences in someone's life. A woman, a birthing person, is never going to forget how their birth went, how they were treated during their birth, who was there, how they talked to them. They might forget the details, but they're not going to forget in general the way that they felt during that process. So that's where we know that birth is such a big transformative experience. People might feel anxious and they have chronic stress. They have, uncertainties of, so if someone is not from here or don't speak the language, then that just adds to the stress. And sometimes it will reflect directly on their health and their health of the baby as well. So that's why we come in. Next slide, please. Okay, we have at a company Doula Care what we call community doulas. That name comes from like, okay, so if someone has a doula that's from their community, someone that speaks their language, someone that understands exactly the struggles they're going through, that person, it's more likely to trust in their doulas to um, uh, go with what the doula is saying in terms of evidence-based care, where they can get culturally appropriate support, where how often they're going to show up sometimes to their prenatal care because they see the doula as that bridge in between their clinical team and their cultural language. Um, Aspects of their life because people do feel safer and have more trust in someone that's from their community. And that's why a company Doula Care was created. Next slide, please. But also, we know that there are several other ways doulas make an impact. Company doula care focus mostly on birth doulas, so the doula that provides education prior to the birth, go with the client to the hospital when they're giving birth, and then also accompany them postpartum for a month or two after they have their babies. But there are a lot of other types of doulas out there. Postpartum doulas, they only see clients postpartum, full spectrum doulas, perinatal doulas, or doulas that only see clients prior to the birth and don't go to the birth, even death doulas. Um, and also doulas, they are not community doulas or doulas, they are private paying doulas. But the focus of a company here is community doulas for birth doulas. But if someone here uh, doesn't, it's not looking for a community doula or a doula through a company doula care, looking for self-referral, also please feel free to send us a message and we'll help you connect. We have other organizations that we partner with, other doulas that we can refer you to if you're looking for a private doula as well. Next slide, please. One more. Okay, here just to touch a little bit on the evidence. What do the numbers say about doula support? Because some people will go like, well, yeah, that's nice, but do I really need a doula, right? Aren't the nurses there? Aren't the doctors there? Isn't my partner there? Yes, all of the above. You need all of that. And the doulas also show, like the numbers show that the doulas have a great impact of in the perinatal period for people. 25% reducing the risk of you having a C-section, 8% decrease in the likelihood of spontaneous vaginal birth, 10% decrease in the use of medication for pain, epidural, narcotics, and all that. So that actually doesn't, it saves the healthcare system money as well. 41 shorter labors, lower risk of baby being admitted to the NICU, and 31% less chances of someone not being satisfied with their birth experience, which is a huge one because, like I said, they will take that experience with them for the rest of their life. Next slide, please. Okay, so how do you get a doula? Like I said, in a company doula care, we only work with either partnerships or insurance referred clients. So and that's how we found that we make the biggest impact because now Mass Health, which is the public health insurance in Massachusetts, covers doula care. But when a company was founded like 7, 8 years ago, I can't remember, um, that wasn't the case. So then we went to the insurance companies and we said, hey, here's how doula care can save you money. Here's how doula care can improve your patient satisfaction scores. Do you want to partner with us? And then some people said yes. And we started small, and now we have doulas that speak 7 different languages. We have like 11 plus doulas in staff, and they are supporting people in their communities. And we have multiple partnerships with insurance companies. Some hospitals refer to us, some insurances refers to us. Sometimes we'll take a self-referral, but we still send that person back to their insurance and the partnership to see if they qualify. So then the doula contacts them. Our doula supervisor will match based on language, geographic location, cultural background, and then that doula is matched with someone, and the doula will contact them and will do 2 to 3 prenatal visits, accompany them during their births, and then do 2 to 3 postpartum visits. In addition to being that text and phone call support anytime someone needs. Okay, and what's not included in doula support? Doulas are not medical professionals. So anything that's clinical, we do not make decisions for the person. We do not take over the partner role. We do not give medical advice. We do not catch babies. We don't pressure the person into, oh, you should have a birth that's this way or this way. We are there to support, give information, and give that person uplift their voice, not make decisions for them or perform any clinical tasks. Next slide. Okay, and how are doulas trained or credentialed? We have had such um, growth in that area in Massachusetts for the past few months, even. We are seeing a lot of different trainings. We're seeing the Department of Public Health funding trainings, and I am a doula trainer now. But they are very over 80 different training organizations for doulas in the United States. So if someone uh, wants to be a doula, it has never been easier, right? There are trainings online, there are trainings in person, and even in Massachusetts, we have a lot of different training organizations. So send me a message if anyone here is looking for that as well. Okay, and I think that slide is redundant. So thank you so much. I know that's my time. I'm out of time anyways. Let me know if you have any questions, and I'm happy to connect with anyone on this call. Thank you for having me.
Thank you so much, Vanessa. Next, we have Caroline.
Hi, good morning, everyone. Just kind of snuck in, but so nice to be here and learn a little bit more about all our resources and help that we have to offer. So I'm here coming from Making Opportunity Count. I am a lactation specialist at yes, there we go. At Mock for now, and as well as a nutritionist. Under Mock, I work under the WIC program that a lot of you may know and love the WIC program, but I do my lactation stuff on the side as well. So yep, there I am, Caroline Elias. I have a bachelor's of science, a bachelor's of arts, and now lactation certified. So this is my little man right there that you see in the middle. I'm struggling to let go that he's not so little anymore like he is in that second picture. And now we're at 2.5. So pray for me. It's been a ride. 2.5 has been fun, but that is Eli, my little Elias, precious angel. Thank you. Awesome. So yes, I wear many hats, but I kind of broadly listed them out for you. So I assist with WIC nutrition at WIC as well as nutrition outside of the WIC office. But a lot of my counseling is prioritized towards breastfeeding support, as well as, of course, healthy eating falls under there. And we look at baby weight gain, growth, monitoring, all of that on our charts, on our growth charts. Safe sleep. We work with a lot of families. I work with a lot of families doing introduction of solids, looking at milestones for baby, right? We have a lot of kiddos in the NICU, so working breastfeeding support in the NICU, self-care for mom, which is really important, and then access to other resources, right? So SNAP, EBT, housing, fuel assistance, and the picture right there on the right is the diaper pantry we recently started. So I've been really, really busy, but hands are full in the best way. Very grateful to be doing that with these girls. All right, beautiful. So, one of the things that people think about when they think nutrition, right? They think diet plans, they think like fitness. And although all of that is true, I love opening people's eyes on the nutrition realm of breastfeeding because it's nutrition and food for baby. Mom's nutrition is very important. And so, one of my favorite things is the Breastfeeding 101 in person or virtual. Before I used to allow, no matter where you were from, please come on in for the breastfeeding 101 classes. But recently I have dwindled it down to North Central Mass at this time. So looking into broadening out those walls again for virtual offered for everyone. But these classes are offered in English, Spanish, and Portuguese. Okay, as well as follow-up calls and check-ins. So every 3 months I call, text, as well as before I was always available kind of 24/7, similar to doula help sometimes, but now I've kind of just kept it Monday through Friday, 9 to 5, every 3 months, a check-in. We do flange sizing. I help people get access to insurance breast pumps, as well as we have the manual Medela breast pumps as well with me. And then any other support that families may need. But that breastfeeding 101 is like my big one, I'd say. Okay. And then one of the things I love to ask people is think about it this way. When is the best time to learn how to swim, right? Before or after you've jumped into the water? So this is similar to breastfeeding. When I first thought of this, I thought this is just the best way to look at it. I think when for people that get pregnant and they're like, yes, I'm gonna, breastfeed, and they say, "Oh yeah, like I'll cross that bridge when I get there." Although that's a great way to look at it. You want to take the pressure off of yourself. I think that there is such an education piece to it. Sometimes, we're hit with these curveballs that we don't expect. So the best time to get support and learn and take these classes and get educated, not just on TikTok and Instagram and the pages galore, but really sitting with a professional and learning about the possibilities, and the challenges you may face. And the chances of success are higher if we learn before baby is here. All right, and then I just threw in my contact. I am at Mock. However, you could still reach me if you have any questions at all at my email right there. Thank you so much, everybody. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Caroline. Now we will hear from Sarah.
Hi, everybody. It's so nice to talk to everybody like in the profession and everyone helping out moms and everything. I'm loving all of this so much. My name is Sarah. I am the owner of Sarah's Sweet Slumber Overnight Newborn Care Agency. I have been working with children basically my whole life since I was 14. I am now 48. I started overnight newborn care in 2004 and then started focusing, continuing on the overnight newborn care path, but then focusing on sleep training in 2007 and have continued doing that. So I go back and forth between overnight newborn care with from birth to 4 months old, and then doing the sleep training from 4 months old to about 4 or 5 years old, depending on the family's needs and when they contact me. Um, I currently have 30 employees at the agency with me. All of them are what we call newborn care specialists. And I also myself am a postpartum certified postpartum doula and have 5 other certified postpartum doulas at the agency with me. And so a newborn care specialist, like a postpartum doula, there is a certification that you go through in order to be able to call yourself a newborn care specialist. And they are a trained, certified professional, and we provide hands-on care for newborns while offering support and education for new parents during the first few months of that newborn stage. Um, when a newborn care specialist comes into your home, we are going to help support with bottle feeding, breastfeeding, whether it's pumped milk or formula. We are going to help once it's age appropriate, which is usually somewhere around the 4 to 6 week mark. We're going to start offering age appropriate wake windows during the day, feeding schedules, try to create healthy sleep habits so that we can start to see those longer stretches at night and start to see some consistency during the day. We call this sleep shaping or sleep conditioning. It's little things that we can start doing that are going to naturally create some healthy sleep habits so that we can get into a nice routine and start to see some predictability and get baby to do those little bit longer stretches at night without anything drastic or crazy. We're there to offer support to the parents, offer our knowledge, information, any questions that they may have. We have families who it's their first baby, and we have families where it's their fifth baby. And so, whatever it is that they are looking for, we are there to help provide them with the rest that they need while we are there in the home providing that safe sleep for baby, but also give them as much information as possible so that they can be hands-on, parents and feel good about where they are in those first few months of life. So, newborn care specialist does have a certification. There are many companies out there that offer certification, but only a few are nationally recognized. We are all first aid CPR certified. Everyone for me at the agency, reference checked and Corey checked. Everyone at the agency is up to date on all vaccines, and the agency itself is fully insured. So we are going to bring baby to nurse. If you prefer to nurse, we will stay with you during that time, or we will go sit and hang out. And then you can, a lot of moms will just text us when they're finished and we come get baby. We're going to then diaper change and swaddle and snuggle and get baby back to sleep again. So a lot of our moms don't even have to get out of bed during that process. We're just there to kind of take over for you, and all you have to do is just do the little snuggling nursing and then get right back to sleep again. Our job is going to be little chores around the house to help make your life a little bit easier. We're going to wash and sterilize bottles and pump equipment. We will fold and put away baby laundry, restock the changing table. Again, trying to help make your life a little bit easier during this time so that you're not feeling completely overwhelmed and you're going to be able to enjoy time with baby during the day and not worrying about all the little things that maybe you're not quite getting done. So our sleep shaping and our sleep conditioning, that does start around 4 to 6 weeks. And there are little things that you can start doing that are going to naturally create some healthy sleep habits. When we do what we call this sleep shaping, you want to make sure that baby is gaining weight and healthy. You want to make sure that you're doing full daytime feeds and not snacking throughout the day, which can be a little bit hard because babies sometimes like to eat a little bit and then fall asleep and then wake up 30 minutes later and then have another little snack. And so we try to help teach you how to make that possible, doing little things, keeping them awake, getting them naked, changing their diaper if you're nursing in between sides. We try to help create a healthy, consistent bedtime so that babies start to recognize those things as sleep cues. And if baby's hungry, we're going to feed them. We're not going to withhold any feeds or anything. We're just saying like, hey, are you actually hungry, or do you just have a little air bubble in your tummy? Let's see if you've got a little burp. And then we're going to put you back down again. And then we work on those little things throughout the overnight and teach you those things for you to work on the overnights when we're not there, so that we can gently push baby in the right direction and get those little bit longer stretches kind of week by week. On week 7 through 8, we start to push that little feed a little bit longer. If baby is waking up and it hasn't been maybe 3 or 4 hours yet, that's when my joke is kind of never accept the first offer. I say, oh, okay, I'm going to pick you up. I'm going to snuggle you for a minute. I'm going to see if you have a burp. I'm going to put you back down. And then if you're still actually fussy and maybe actually hungry, then I am going to feed you. But around that time, you're looking for maybe 1 to 2 feeds overnight. And again, this all is dependent on birth weight and the weight that they have gained up to that point. As long as it is a healthy weight, you're looking at ideally some 4 to 6 hour stretches at night. Typically, we do see babies start to do those longer stretches when they hit 11 to 12 pounds. That is pretty average. So once we're getting to that 11 to 12 pound mark is when we would like to start seeing at least a 4 hour stretch, if not that 5 to 6 hour stretch. And then on weeks 9 through 12, we're looking for maybe getting a little bit longer throughout the overnight, maybe doing that last feed somewhere between 10 or 11 o'clock at night, so that they're getting into their deeper sleep. That babies naturally go into a deep sleep around 10 o'clock. That is their circadian rhythm, that deep sleep between 10 p.m. and 6 a.m. So we're trying to capitalize on that and do that last feed right at some 10 o'clock, 9:30, 10 o'clock, get them into that deeper sleep. And then have them do their longest stretch from there. And then if they're waking up after that a little bit of time, try to push them a little bit each time. Whoops. So then we, gradually phase out those night feeds and, make sure they're eating enough during the day, feeding every 2 to 3 hours so that they're getting the calories that they need during the day so they don't need them at night. And then by that 12, sometimes 12, 14 week mark, you are looking at hopefully getting those nice long stretches at night. Some babies are a little bit earlier, some are a little bit longer, but that is kind of the typical pattern that we like to follow. We want to work at getting out of the swaddle and that type of thing as well, but that is basically what we like to do at our time with our families. Our families usually will keep us for about 3 or 4 months doing the overnights. That's pretty average for how long our families will keep us. So our typical hours are 9 p.m. to 7 a.m. That is our most popular overnight. That's our 10-hour shift. And then we have the 9-hour shift from 9 to 6. And then we have the 8-hour shift, which is the 10 to 6. We do have the 8-hour minimum. It is $48 an hour for singletons and $50 an hour for twins. We do have actually a bunch of twins coming up in the fall, which we haven't had twins in a while. And we haven't had triplets in about 3 years, which is very sad for me because I love the triplets. But there haven't been any triplets in a while, but I'm fingers crossed we'll get some soon because those are my favorite. Um, but anyway, that is me. That is my agency. I'm so proud of everything that I do. I love my job so much. I work it 24/7, and I always love talking about sleep and babies and anything that I can do to help anybody. So if anybody would like to reach out, I am basically always available, and I'd love to hear from anybody if they have any questions.
Amazing, Sarah. Thank you. We love to see the passion you have for your work. Thank you for sharing that also. Next,
I'm headed to bed, so thank you all so much. I've got an overnight tonight, so I really appreciate all that you all are doing, but please reach out anytime. I appreciate
yes, we will be sharing
it.
questions with Sarah if anyone has any. Thank you so much, Sarah.
Thank you.
Next, we have Jessica.
Yeah, hi, welcome everyone. My name is Jessica Swayman. I'm a licensed independent clinical social worker. I've been a therapist and social worker for over 15 years now. And for the last six, I started my own holistic wellness business in 2020 when the whole world shut down and we needed community and connection more than ever and safe ways to support our mental health and emotional well-being. And so Emotions in Motion blossomed. So I am located in Metro West area. I offer, as you can see, not just individual therapy. I am very passionate about building community and fostering meaningful connections for moms in all stages of motherhood. Motherhood can be pretty lonely. We are more connected than ever, yet we are more disconnected than ever. There's a loneliness epidemic, and moms need other moms. And there's certainly lots of places to be around other moms, but not necessarily places where we can feel really seen and connected. And so a big part of my business and my passion is, as I mentioned, like creating these intentional spaces for moms to gather. And I'll go into more depth around different things, but these are pictures from my postpartum support groups, my mother self-renewal retreats, vision board workshops. In addition to being a therapist and coach, I'm also a personal trainer and yoga teacher. I don't offer anymore, but I was doing a lot of stroller fitness classes and baby me yoga and personal training as well. So I just like to share that as I have that background. But you can flip to the next slide. So I kind of break things down into 4 quadrants. And again, as my mission is to empower moms in all seasons, all stages of motherhood to live healthier, happier, and more connected lives. And really passionate about taking a holistic mind-body approach. And although I specialize in moms, I work with dads as well, and also women that aren't moms. And I actually for the first 10 years of my career, specialized in working with children, primarily and adolescents, and really switched to working with moms because behind every child is a parent. And so you can only do so much with kids. If kids are going back and coming from, have parents that are anxious and dysregulated, that's going to impact the child. Um, and so in terms of like my offerings, I do traditional individual therapy. I can see anybody. I'm licensed in Massachusetts, so I offer virtual sessions. I also offer walk and talk sessions in Framingham at two separate parks. E-moving is a really powerful tool. It's one of the most to improve our mental health. It's the most potent anti-anxiety, antidepressants with no negative side effects. It can help people to open up more. There's a lot of benefits to walking and also being in nature. And with my postpartum moms, it's really helpful to bring baby in stroller, although I encourage moms to have their, try to get dedicated time just for them. It can be very helpful to be able to bring baby as well. I am currently at a network for all insurance providers. So people pay me directly, and I provide a super bill for people to submit to their insurance for out-of-network reimbursement. And I'm also do offer some sliding scales as well. So I do specialize, can you go back? I do specialize in maternal mental health. So anybody pregnant, postpartum, or beyond, and do a lot of work supporting moms in motherhood and parenting and those big life transitions. A lot of, helping with nervous system regulation, and stress and burnout prevention. I also specialize, it looks like I got caught off a little bit there, but in exposure and response prevention. It's a gold standard treatment for OCD and anxiety-related disorders. So I do a lot of work with helping people overcome OCD, whether they're postpartum or not. But definitely something that I see a lot of, and a lot of moms postpartum are very scared to disclose their intrusive thoughts and fears. Um, and so they won't seek out help. And so it is really, and the reality is some people who aren't educated, you know, will be concerned in hearing that and might react and respond in ways that actually aren't really supportive to mom. So I also offer, as I mentioned, a lot of groups and coaching and community. I'll highlight in the next slide in a second my postpartum support group. That's an in-person group that meets in Natick for 7 weeks. I also have a 3-month coaching group called Rooted, and it's really helping moms to live a more intentional lifestyle and to really support their holistic well-being. I offer one-to-one coaching as well. And I offer a variety of, I've run mother circles, and I have walk and talk groups as well in Metro West. Um, I offer mother self-renewal retreats in New England. I'm having my second one this summer in Vermont, and that's for moms in any season of motherhood who are looking to step away from that day-to-day noise and put down the to-do list and the mental load and the giving, and have this really special experience where you can feel deeply held and nourished. There's workshops and yoga and a private chef, and just really helping moms reconnect with themselves outside of motherhood. And then I offer a variety of workshops and speaking engagements talking about anything from stress management and burnout to, maternal mental health and motherhood. I have my annual vision board workshop. I do a lot of work on like helping parents and moms in particular prioritize self-care and cultivate greater self-compassion. So I've partnered with everyone from like libraries to the mall to mom groups to I've done corporate wellness, nonprofits. So I love collaborating and pushing into spaces where people want to build community and around wellness. So you can flip to the next slide. I was just going to go a little bit more into my mindful mom and baby postpartum support group because it's very relevant to this symposium. But again, this really intentional. I run it with my colleague who's also a clinical social worker, and she also has a background in early childhood education. But our intentions is to create this supportive space where moms can show up as they are every week. It's a closed group because we really want to create this intentional space for moms to feel safe enough to open up and be more vulnerable and have these conversations about things that we're all moms are thinking, feeling, and experiencing. but don't necessarily always talk about or have the spaces that they feel safe doing that. And so we meet in Natick, inside Bloom and Grow Creative and downtown Natick. It is private pay. This is really mother-centered support. There is plenty of baby groups that focus on babies and babies' well-being and entertaining them and stimulating them, and those are great. And not so many spaces that truly focus on the mother and the mother's emotional well-being and her experience moving through early motherhood. And so we are, really want to have moms feel deeply seen and understood and connected and validated. What makes this group unique as well is we teach moms mindfulness tools to help regulate their nervous system so that they can co-regulate their child, their baby, right? It all starts with the mom's nervous system. A dysregulated mom can't regulate a dysregulated baby. And so giving these practical tools that you can put into your toolbox to regulate yourself and reconnect with that calm, compassion, and confidence that we all have within us that can sometimes be hard to find, but we all have it. And so finding, giving you tools to help you reconnect with that part of yourself. Um, this group is a place to start building your village. Everyone gets on a group text, and often these cohorts of moms are, meeting outside of the regular weekly session. We strongly encourage that and support that. And I've been running this group for 3.5 years now, every 7 weeks. So I've had several hundred moms go through this, and I hear often from them that they're still, connected and have made really meaningful friendships and community, which is great. You can switch to the next slide. I should mention the next one starts tomorrow, and I have one spot left. So if you are a new mom, first or more times with a baby that's pre-crawling, definitely would love to have you. And then I take the summer off, and we'll start that group again in the fall. In fall, all my groups are on my website and open for registration. So I wanted to talk a little bit about matrescence, and this word might be familiar to some people, but for many others, I'm guessing most people, not so much. It is a word that I wish I found out when my kids were babies. My kids are now 8 and 10, but I probably found out about this word, I don't know, like 5 years ago. But matrescence is this transformation, this developmental transition of becoming a mom. Just like adolescence, right? If you think about an adolescent, like they're going through this profound change. So moms are going through the same exact thing. Language is so powerful. When we have language, we can name something, it can be validating, and we can support it. So I'm giving you language and a framework and an understanding. So matres, and you don't just become a mom overnight. It's this, just like adolescents don't become an adolescent overnight. So if you think about it, a mom's identity is shifting. It's a huge identity shift. So there's this big disorientation of like, who am I anymore, right? I was, this professional identity, I was this, I was that, and now I'm a mom, and how does all these identities fit in with one another? Mom's emotions are drastically changing, right? And they're often polarized, and there's often a lot of duality of emotions in motherhood, right? You're feeling joyful, you're feeling a lot of grief. There's so much grief in motherhood. There's loss of identity, there's loss of freedom, of independence. There can be loss of pregnancies, right? Loss of relationships. So many things are changing. So yeah, relationships are changing, right? You're no longer just a partner, you're a partner and a mother. You might be growing out of relationships with friends that don't have kids or maybe aren't in this season of life. A mother's priorities are shifting, right? Again, it's a huge shift. So the way she decides to spend her time, right? Her priorities maybe not going back to work anymore. And in the past, like that was never something she could even fathom of. A mother's brain and hormones are drastically changing, right? Their brain is changing to be more alert to danger and to feel more deeply, to have more empathy. the huge hormonal shifts, and the mom's bodies are changing physically as well. So I share this because it's so important. First of all, if you are someone in this, a mother and somewhere in this transition, and you're always becoming a mother. My kids are almost oh my God, 10 and 12. And I'm still becoming a mother to a teenager, a preteen right now. And so it's a framework to help you first validate your experience and have language of like, oh yeah, and I'm not alone, and this is disorienting, and it can be hard. Um, and so we're gonna flip to the next slide. So 1 in 5 moms will experience a perinatal mood or anxiety disorder, but 5 out of 5 moms experience matrescence. And so every mom deserves support. This slide really talks about intensive mothering. So a lot of my work is helping mothers understand the culture we're mothering in, right? So not only this transition, this developmental transition that they're going through, but also looking at the context of how we're mothering. So intensive mothering is our modern parenting style that, and these are messages that we get implicitly and explicitly, right? It's telling moms to always be available and to always self-sacrifice, right? Putting your children's needs above your own. There's extremely high expectations and pressures in motherhood for moms to parent perfectly, to even have like perfect emotions, like not creating space for having other feelings about mothering and their journey. And so there's and just perfections around their parenting, their bodies, their appearance, their children's behavior, you name it. And so it really drives like perfectionism and this feeling of never being enough. And which is leading to moms burning out. Um, there's also these expectations that moms should be emotionally involved and responsive at all times and to be super mom, and manage everything on their own, which are really, we live in a very individualistic society. Women in general and moms in general can struggle to reach out and ask for help. And those moms often are ones that can struggle more in motherhood because you just can't do it on your own, even though we get messages of like, oh, you could do it all. And there's also pressure of enjoying every moment of motherhood. I think I kind of mentioned this before, but really no space and permission to feel anything else but joy. In reality, there's a lot more in motherhood than just joy. And then the last is like this expert-driven parenting where the experts know best, and it's really leading to parents and mothers in particular losing touch with their own intuition. We live in a society where there's information overload, right, with social media and all the experts, and you could talk to 5 experts and get 5 different opinions. And so moms are just so anxious and their heads are spinning. And they're losing touch with like their intuition, as I mentioned, and they know their baby best. So again, this is another just context of like this is what we're mothering in and naming it and understanding how it's impacting you, and helping you, challenge these social norms and which can cause a lot of guilt. These pressures, if you go to the next slide, can cause a lot of guilt and shame in motherhood. There's even a term, mom guilt, right? Because guilt is a very healthy emotion. It tells us when we're out of alignment with our values. Unfortunately, moms, this intensive mothering culture and these values get internalized. And so when you try to prioritize yourself or have emotions that aren't all joyful in motherhood, there's this discrepancy, right? And this feeling of like, ooh, I shouldn't feel this way, or I shouldn't prioritize myself because I'm told I'm not supposed to, or a good mom doesn't do that. When in reality, it's very the opposite. And so intensive mothering leads to guilt and shame. It leads to, the poor self-care and health and that lack of support as well. And so my passion is really helping moms learn to tune out the noise, to challenge these social norms, to break generational cycles, right? This is, these are things we inherit generationally of like how you were mothered and so on. And so doing our own healing, um, breaking these social norms and feeling empowered to do that and to really redefine your motherhood journey in ways that align with your values and that really support your mental health and your overall well-being. So you can move to the next slide. So yeah, as I mentioned, 1 in 5 moms will experience a perinatal mood and anxiety disorder, right? So it's very, very common. Um, 1 in 10 fathers will as well. So that's really something to be mindful of. It is the most common complication of childbirth, and up to 50% go untreated for a variety of reasons. Um, there's so much focus on the baby at the beginning. Oftentimes, moms, when it's their first, they don't know any different. They've never had a baby before. So they could just be like, oh, this is normal to be anxious and worried and, find it hard. And then they have that second and they're like, oh, okay, that was not normal. So often people aren't treated, and when they do get treatment, I have moms reaching out to me, you know, technically you have to have symptoms in the first year, but I have moms that are having 2, 3, 4-year-olds that they just never got treated within that first year, but they are struggling with a postpartum mood or anxiety disorder. And so as I mentioned, 1 in 5 will experience a perinatal mood and anxiety disorder, but 5 in 5 experience matrescence. And it's hard, right? It's disorienting. And all moms deserve support. You don't have to be struggling enough to deserve support. Um, so whether you meet criteria for a diagnosis or not, you deserve support. So move on to the next slide for me, please. Thank you. And so we're up against these messages in motherhood of saying like prior, and the time, limited time and energy. But if it's really a reframe of the best thing that you're doing for your baby is taking care of yourself. You can't pour from an empty cup. I think we all know that metaphor, the analogy on the airplane, they talk about you've got to put your oxygen mask on first. So before you can put the oxygen mask on somebody else. And so this is the same thing. So having that mindset of every time you're doing something intentionally to care for yourself, and that could be asking for help, that could be setting a boundary, that could be drinking water, right? There's so many things. That could be talking kindly to yourself. That's caring for yourself. And the way you care for yourself is the foundation for how you care for others. I want to emphasize you're not alone. I always tell the moms I work with, if you're thinking it and feeling it, so are other people. I see people all day individually, and I feel like I'm having the same conversations, and people feel very isolated and alone and judge themselves and beat themselves up. Moms are really hard on themselves. Um, and I'm like, you are not alone. And it can feel that way though in our world when we're at our lows and we are scrolling and see people at their highs, right? All their highlight reels. And that's why I really emphasize the group component and community, because when you can be in those spaces and see that and feel that and get that validation that you're not alone, that's so healing. And we all need to feel that way. So yeah, it can be really hard. I know there's so many barriers that get in the way of moms, especially in early motherhood, to getting out of the house with their baby, right? And they, we make up barriers up in our mind, anxiety, there's so many different things. In some ways, it can be easier to stay home in that moment, but it is actually much harder because it's one of the best things you can do for your mental health and emotional well-being is to get out of the house, to have place, people are expecting you. We all need that accountability when there are so many barriers. So whether it's a formal group or something else, definitely think about that as a way of prioritizing yourself by getting out of the house and connecting with others. And remember, you deserve support. I want you to do it for yourself, but at the very least, do it for your baby. So switch to the next slide. So this is me. You can, I'm on social, I'm on Instagram and Facebook. You can follow me. I have a weekly newsletter that I send out if you want to go to my website and subscribe. Um, as I mentioned, if you are like a provider and have, you know, want to collaborate or have a workshop, definitely reach out. I'm always happy to answer any questions too from moms um, about services, supports, connecting to other things as well. So I will end with that. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Jessica. Thank you, Caroline and Vanessa, also for being here, taking the time to share the great work that you do, the passion that you have, and provide resources and education and awareness to the people that are here with us today. We did have two questions in the chat in case folks hadn't seen it. Someone asked why people might choose a death doula. Thank you, Vanessa, for answering. She said people might choose a death doula to have someone supportive and calming by their side who helps them feel less alone and more prepared during the end of life. Vanessa, feel free to add anything. If not, we had another question. Where is the diaper bank you mentioned, Caroline? I was actually going to ask for you to share that as well. So the diaper bank is at 165 Mill Street in Leominster. And Caroline also mentioned that it's the first and second Thursday of the month from 1 to 3 for North Central Massachusetts residents. So Caroline, can people just drop in? Do they need a referral?
Yes, great question. I was really happy. I was gonna hopefully try to add more into that. But yes, so you can hop in. We do emergency basis. Of course, we want to get diapers out as much as we can. But there is a high demand, a lot of people in need. So we also have other diaper pantries. So depending on where you live, we have a lot of connections that we could get somewhere closer to you, which is ideal, right? You would want somewhere closer to you. Hopefully, no one is driving 45 minutes to an hour to get 30 diapers. And it is 30 if anybody asks. 30 a month. We had to, cap it at that for now. But we accept donations. So if you guys know anybody, diapers, wipes, clothes, we take them, we give them. We've been really, really surprised because we actually don't receive a funding or a budget for our diaper pantry. It's fully donation based. So the community has been amazing with the donations so far. So get the word out there if you know of any, but we can always push, diapers for whoever needs it. But we do try to keep it for North Central Massachusetts for now. If I have the address, I send it. I send you, if I have an address, I can send you somewhere closer, hopefully. But you come in, you don't need a referral. I do have people just sign like a registration form so that I have your information. Where if you come in next time, oh, okay. To her kiddo is size 3. I push it. You're in and out. But if it's your first time, don't worry about it. You can always just give me your information again. But I try to keep track so that people don't double dip, come back 100 times a month, taking my diapers. But yes. So that's hopefully I answered any questions.
Thank you. I do have a question for you guys as well, for all three of you. Um, what is one thing you wish or you could tell someone who's getting ready to give birth or maybe has a small baby in their arms today, that they should know about your field or the work that you do? Yeah. And you guys can unmute yourself if you have something to say.
Yeah, I would definitely recommend getting a therapist ahead of time. It's so much easier. It's first of all, it's really hard to find a therapist. Yeah, a therapist that you can, whether it takes your insurance or you can afford, that has openings that it feels like a good fit. Sometimes you have to go through. It's so much easier to have support lined up and to have that relationship established when things are going well. And so then if you really, not that we don't yeah, when you really need it most, you have it there, right? It's because your world's going to be turned upside down. You're going to have so many things to be focusing on. So to have that support in place, I think, um, as I mentioned, you're just going through this huge life transition, and every aspect of your life and your health is being affected by it. So definitely being proactive is what my recommendation would be. I think also, one other thing is just having doing some like maybe seeing like a couples therapist or somebody, just being really intentional with your partner about, anticipating what things are going to be like. Obviously you don't ever know for sure until you experience it, but starting that communication, and possibly seeking out professional support, people that work in this field, so that you can have more communication and a foundation to work with.
Yeah, I love that, Jessica, especially because I mean, when you have a baby, even while you're pregnant, you hear so many different voices, and it's usually like, your loved ones, and they care, they love us, but it's nice to probably have somebody outside too, like someone external that isn't in, there in the everyday to talk to. So I love that advice. I think I also touched base on kind of in my slide a little bit about if we're talking about breastfeeding, to also do that ahead of time, as well as getting factual, you know, information. There's so much out there. There's just this oversaturation of information now with social media and everything. So making sure that we're not just filling our journals and our to-do lists and our Amazon carts with things that we don't need. So it's just like all of that before. So kind of to be wise, um, and community for sure. Like you mentioned, community is a big one, your big shift. So making sure that, yeah, it's so sweet being alone with just your baby, but you can be insane. So, um, you definitely need a community. I'm big on like movement, even 45 minutes a day, 30 minutes a day. We need it, mother or not. So that's a big one.
Caroline, just a quick question for you since you were the last one to share. When would a mother know that she needs help with breastfeeding? And it's not just like oh, baby is struggling right now, but it's going to get better.
Yeah. So do you mean when she should know? Because my question is always as soon as you get pregnant. But let's say baby's here, you haven't had the support yet. So you get somebody in the hospital, and great, they usually help with the latch. They're usually there to answer like the basic beginner questions you may have, show you positions, offer the formula, and all that stuff is great. But usually what happens is when they leave the hospital, they really never get in contact with that specific lactation ever again. So I say that to get somebody outside of the hospital before, kind of like Jessica said, and with a therapist, but it's, because then you've already built this relationship. You already have that person to call and FaceTime the second that your supply hits a plump, the second that baby's crying and you don't know what to do. So that relationship and that contact is already there. Usually that sets you up for success. It's like you're more equipped. But as far as, an actual issue goes, there's a lot of different things that can happen. So whether it's latch, whether it's milk supply, whether it's pump, right? Like flange sizes and things not fitting right. There's a lot of different things like that. I know people call me all the time about supplements and actual food, like, I'm trying to lose weight. Like now I cut this, but my milk supply is dropping. So that's like, those are issues. So there's a lot of different issues that might lead a mom to look for the breastfeeding support. But we always work more towards prevention than we do towards, emergency, because it's better to already be equipped before the problems come.
Yes,
Yeah.
that is public health work prevention. Um, and then we had a question in the chat. This is for Vanessa. What strategies do you use to build trust with clients who are more comfortable with medicalized care? That is a great question.
Um, so the doulas are not, um, so we most of the clients we support are in the healthcare system, right? Are in hospitals, are even if someone has a scheduled C-section, they still can have the support of the doula. So that's why we make sure that person has support prenatally to get to know their doula, build that rapport, build that trust. And a lot of the doula work is listening and to what the client's hoping for their birth experience. If some people are most comfortable, like the more medicalized their experiences, the better for them. And the doula is not there to shape in any form the way that the person gives birth, but to give them the information and the support to get that person to have the experience that's the closest as possible to what they are looking for. So that's where the prenatal preparation and meetings and home visits come in handy so they can build that preference, birth plan, or just discuss how they can get from wanting something to making sure that happens at least as close as possible to what they're hoping for their birth.
Amazing. Thank you. I don't see any other questions. So I would like to give everyone 15 minutes of their day back. Um, like I said before, we will be sharing and posting the recording of this webinar. All are welcome and invited to join session 2 happening on May 12th at 5 p.m. That is an evening session. Thank you again to all our speakers for sharing your time, your knowledge, and happy World Maternal Mental Health Day to all the moms out there. I hope you get to take some time to take care of yourself and your mental health. And happy early Mother's Day as well.
Thank you,
Thanks,
everyone.
everyone.
Thank
Thank you
you.
so much.